Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They don't even fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they don't finish what they start. And the most dangerous part is this: not finishing slowly becomes who you are. You don't notice it at first. It starts small. You begin projects with excitement. You make plans with confidence. You promise yourself that this time will be different. And for a moment, it feels real. You feel motivated. You feel capable. You feel hopeful. But then something happens. The excitement fades. The work becomes repetitive. Progress slows down. Doubt creeps in. And without realizing it, you stop. You don't quit loudly. You don't make an announcement. You just drift away. You get busy. You get distracted. You tell yourself you'll come back to it later, and later never comes. Finishing feels heavier than starting, so you choose relief over completion. At first, it feels harmless. You tell yourself you'll do better next time. You convince yourself that the idea just wasn't right, that the timing was off, that something else deserves your attention more. But your mind remembers. Every unfinished task leaves a small mark. Every abandoned goal weakens your belief in yourself just a little. Over time, those small marks add up. You stop trusting your own promises. You hesitate before starting anything meaningful because a quiet voice inside you whispers, "You never finish anyway." And that voice is exhausting. Because deep down, you know you're capable of more. You know you have potential. But potential without completion becomes frustration. And frustration, when ignored long enough, turns into self-doubt. That's why finishing what you start matters more than starting something impressive. Starting feeds your ego. Finishing builds your identity. Most people love the beginning. Beginnings are full of possibility. They feel clean, untouched, safe. You can imagine success without confronting difficulty. You can feel productive without producing results. But the middle is where things get real. The middle is uncomfortable. It's where effort replaces excitement, where progress feels slow, where mistakes show up, when no one is watching and no one is applauding, and the mind hates the middle. Because the middle demands patience, it demands discipline, it demands endurance without immediate reward. So your brain looks for escape. It tells you to switch projects, to chase a new idea, to find something that feels easier. And the moment you abandon what you started, the discomfort disappears, but only temporarily. Because the relief you feel from quitting doesn't come from freedom. It comes from avoidance. And avoidance always charges interest. The cost shows up later as regret, as stagnation, as a life filled with unfinished chapters. This is how people stay busy but never move forward. They start many things. They finish almost nothing. And they confuse motion with progress. Finishing what you start is not about being perfect. It's about being present through discomfort. It's about staying when the initial excitement is gone and all that remains is effort. That's where growth happens. Most people believe discipline means forcing yourself to work harder. But real discipline is quieter than that. It's the ability to stay when you want to leave, to continue when the novelty wears off, to resist the urge to reset instead of complete. Finishing is not glamorous. It doesn't feel exciting. It feels steady. It feels grounded. It feels earned. And because it doesn't give you an instant emotional reward, the brain resists it. Your mind is wired to seek novelty. New ideas release dopamine. New plans feel energizing. That's why starting something new feels good, even if you never finish anything. But finishing releases something deeper than dopamine. It releases trust. Every time you finish what you start, you prove something to yourself. You show yourself that your words matter, that your intentions mean something, that you can follow through even when it's uncomfortable. That kind of self-trust changes how you see yourself. You begin to act differently. You make promises more carefully. You stop chasing everything. You become selective because you know the cost of commitment. People who finish what they start don't have more motivation. They have more respect for their own word. They understand that every commitment is a contract with themselves, and breaking that contract repeatedly erodes confidence. That's why some people feel stuck even when they're constantly working on themselves. They're always starting new routines, new habits, new goals. But because they rarely finish, nothing sticks. Their identity never stabilizes. They live in permanent restart mode. And restarting feels hopeful, but it keeps you at the same level. Progress requires completion. Completion creates closure. Closure frees mental space. When you finish something, your mind stops carrying it. You're no longer subconsciously thinking about it, feeling guilty about it, or avoiding it. Unfinished things linger. They drain energy. They create background stress. Your mind keeps open loops, and open loops create tension. That's why finishing what you start doesn't just build discipline, it creates peace. Another reason people struggle to finish is because they overestimate what finishing should look like. They believe finishing means perfect. They believe it means maximum effort. They believe it means proving something to others. So when their work doesn't match the ideal image in their head, they stall. They think, what's the point? And instead of completing something imperfect, they abandon it entirely. But unfinished perfection is worse than finished imperfection. A completed imperfect task teaches you more than an abandoned perfect plan ever will. Finishing is not about impressing. It's about closing the loop. Most of life doesn't reward brilliance. It rewards consistency. The people who move forward are not the most talented. They are the ones who keep showing up long enough to finish. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They don't wait for confidence. They don't wait for clarity. They move forward with uncertainty, because clarity comes after action, not before it. Finishing what you start also requires accepting boredom. Boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is a signal that you're past novelty and entering mastery. But modern life teaches you to escape boredom instantly. Scroll, switch, distract, restart. And every time you do, you weaken your ability to stay. The ability to finish is a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. You train it by finishing small things, by completing tasks even when no one notices, by keeping promises that only you know about. Those moments build internal strength. You don't need to finish everything you start, but you must finish the things you choose deliberately. Be intentional about what you begin, and ruthless about what you complete. If you start something important, decide in advance that discomfort is part of the process, that boredom will show up, that doubt will appear, and that none of those feelings are reasons to quit. They're just part of the path. Finishing doesn't mean you'll always like the outcome. It means you respect the process enough to see it through. And that respect shapes who you become. Over time, something powerful happens. You stop being someone who tries. You become someone who completes. Your self-image shifts. Your standards rise. Your life gains momentum. Because momentum isn't built by starting fast. It's built by finishing steadily. If you've struggled with follow-through in the past, this is not a judgment, it's an invitation to redefine how you approach your goals. Stop asking, what should I start next? Start asking, what am I willing to finish? Then choose one thing. Not everything, not the biggest thing, just one meaningful thing. And commit to completing it, even imperfectly. That single decision can change how you see yourself. Because finishing what you start doesn't just move projects forward, it moves you forward. If you want to continue building this mindset, watch the next video in this series. This is how discipline becomes natural and progress becomes inevitable. Finish what you start and let that become your new standard. If this video hit you, subscribe. Watch the next video to continue the mental reset.